right, a great women's clear. All right, a great women's clear off an 8-meter shot. So listen, for those of you guys that have boys, don't click away because this is super applicable to both boys and girls. I just found this clip and I thought, hey, why don't we talk about this? All right, this is really this is good stuff. Okay, so the idea here is that I'm a massive proponent that I want the lacrosse goalie of the future to be so damn good that the other team thinks twice about taking a shot on that goalie. Okay. Um, because they're worried that if the goalie makes a save and the goalie has a really good outlet pass and understands transition, that um, you're giving up a fast break. Okay. It's because what ends up happening is that when teams feel that they can just shoot on your goalie, they're not thinking, they're basically anticipating that they'll be the second to think about what happens when, when the goalie makes a save, right? So a player takes a shot and what happens? Everybody looks at the goalie. Where is it? Oh, my face is covered by my logo. Let's just move me down here somewhere. So the idea is that there I look at that time as a really important time for a goalie for transition starts. Let's put it this way. Transition starts not when the goalie makes the save. Transition starts when the shot is taken. All right. Or even slightly before the shot is taken. Okay. So what I'll do is I'm going to play this clip. And I'll play it through once. And then we'll talk about it. So here we go. No sound. Apologize. All right. So this is an 8-meter shot. The ball's kind of top, like just a little left of top center. Okay. All right. There's the fast break. And the ref blows the whistle. I can't remember what this really don't understand what the call is, but no big deal. Okay, so we're gonna play this up. So did you guys see that? All right, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go back. Whee. All right. Okay. So I want to take you back to right before this shot is taken. Right. So in the women's game, all right, in the women's game, obviously on 8-meter shots, everybody's kind of frozen. They're like, they got to be in certain positions, and I can't stand these rules. I'll be honest. This when I work with girls, I get totally bored by the girls' rules. I'll be completely honest. They drive me nuts, right? But the idea here is that I want you to see what happens. I'm just going to play this forward. So you'll see this player. Yeah, I know it was a shooting space call, but I really don't care. Mike, I appreciate that. I just don't care. I hate those calls. I just hate them. I just hate them. Because when I think of other sports, I think of like play on. I think of advantage, all that stuff, and that's what should happen there. So it just drives me nuts. Can't stand it. Yeah, totally can't stand it. It's all good. So no, I thank you, Mike, though. All right, but here's the deal. So what you'll notice here is that when this shot gets taken, all right, when this shot gets taken, I'm just gonna kind of. So here we go. Here comes the shot. Hold on, a little laggy. Come on. All right, there it is. There's the shot, and the goalie. Something's happened, right? So right now, everybody's looking at the goalie, right? Everybody's looking at the goalie. But out of all these players, there's one smart woman ready to go here. One. Actually, 1.5. Two total. All right. So here's what happens is that the goalie has made the save, and it's this time period that where teams miss out. Teams totally miss out because when a shot is taken at the cage, what can happen? Right? Like what can happen? Well, the ball goes in the net. Okay. Ball goes in the net. What are we going to do then? Well, we're going to face off. Okay, whatever. Shot goes wide. Okay, shot goes wide. What can happen? Well, shot's gone wide, and most likely it's going out of bounds. Right? It's rare. It can happen, but it's rare that there's like an offensive player behind the cage ready to like catch that thing or block it, whatever. Odds are when that shot's taken and it misses, it's going out of bounds. So then what? Well, it's a restart. Okay, it's a restart. All right. What's the third thing that can happen? Well, it can hit the goalie. All right, okay, well, it can hit the goalie, and then it could be a rebound somewhere. Okay, so everybody's gonna look at the goalie, but a lot of times rebounds are also somewhat rare. Like I think, like I say that, or I kind of bite my tongue just a little bit, but you know what I mean. Like rebounds are most often like it's either going in or the goalie's going to catch it, right? And I don't have the data on that, but I'm sure if we kind of did some data, if you guys use the scorecards and the cheat sheets, you'll see you're like, all right, well, okay, we'll give up rebounds every once in a while. But what can happen on a rebound? Well, it can go to one of your players, or it can go just like off into space or whatever. So no harm, no foul, whatever. The other thing you can do, it can hit the post. Great, can hit the post. All right. But the idea is that if the goalie makes a save, all right, in all those situations, is there any risk in my team defensively breaking out, like leaving? No. In my opinion, no. And so what I want you to do here is that I want to show this to you. Okay, I'm going to rewind it. All right. So you saw the video. You saw the video and you saw the girl break out on a fast break. But which one of these girls is it? Can you tell me which one of these girls it is? Like, just you guys don't have to answer me, but just guess, right? Is it this girl who's the one who's the furthest upfield, right? Most people go like, yeah, that was it. Was I think it was her. I think it was her. Okay, watch this. Right, shot comes in, goalie makes the save. It's this girl right here, and she's gone, and she's doing the right thing. She saw that the goalie may get the ball, and she takes off. And what happens? She beats everybody who's still kind of in that mode of like, oh, well, the goalie's going to pick it up. And this isn't just a girl's thing. This is a boy's thing too, right? They're thinking like, oh, the goalie's going to pick it up and whatever. And okay, then we'll break. And then no, she's gone. She's gone. And now she's leading everybody by like 5 yards. And the goalie, by the time the goalie gets the ball, she could hit her now. She waits, she takes that extra cradle, she gives her like extra room to run, and she's going to hit her, and she hits her perfectly. I want our goalies to understand that when you throw the ball, the idea is that you're going to hit that player in such a way that they are going to be in stride. They're not going to have to reach back for the ball. You're not going to slow them down. Why? Because it's an offensive opportunity. And it all starts with the goalie making the save. So, what I would like to recommend everybody to do, okay? So, if you're a coach listening to this, I want you to tell your team. Now, the one thing here is like, I believe if I'm understanding this correctly, like this is a defensive player, right? This is most likely a defensive player. And so she's not thinking about breaking up field, which I think is wrong. Like, if I was to coach this, the way I coach, I'll be like, okay, when we're on defense, everybody's on defense transitioning to offense. Everybody is transitioning to offense. So if you're a defensive player, but you're the furthest one upfield, well, in hockey, we used to call that head manning the puck, right? We're looking for the player further upfield. So I'm going to tell this player, you go, right? You're already there. Go. There's no need for you to come back. We're covered, right? But she's just casually drops. Like she even gets out of the way and then goes over there, right? She goes over here. Well, no, like, why not just leave her out here and go, all right, we're going to hit you first, right? We're going to hit you first and probably not get shooting space and then score. But anyway, whatever. So if you're a coach listening to me, I want you to understand this, that on defense, when a shot is taken, so let's say you've got a player and they're covering the ball carrier and something happens where they've gotten uh, juked out of their shorts, like they're looking back, trying to find their jock, all that stuff, right? Just say, listen, if you're that far, if you're behind the offensive player by a step, just break out. Just because, why? Well, either they're going to score, they're going to put the ball over the cage, they're going to, hit the post, hit the goalie, whatever. But if any of those things happen, then you're safe to just go. And we're going to hit you. If the goalie makes a save, we're going to hit you, and we're going to now go on a fast break the other way. So, there's basically advantages to that. I remember in high school, I went to the Cornell lacrosse camp, and I've told some of you guys this story before, like Hutch Huddleston, who was from St. Paul's and went to Yale, was this great long pole, and he used to get beat on purpose and just try to like fish, over a guy's head, waiting to get the stick. But sometimes he would just get like if he was tired, he would just take off, and I would hit him on a break, and he'd go down for a fast break and score, and then sub off and take a rest and have water. But the idea was, it's like, okay, like so teach your guys or your girls, like, listen, if you've been beaten, just hang out for a second, like see what happens. If the shot's made and the goalie makes a save, you're gone. We're gonna hit you on a fast break. Okay, like that's it. Um, Now the other option is also somebody on the far side of the field, because what often happens is that this player here, the usually the offensive player that kind of feels like they're the furthest away from the ball, they, again, boys or girls, they're just kind of sitting back. So you see this BC player here, she's just kind of like, yeah, they're like, she's gonna score, and oh, that's fun. But now here she's like off a half second, because right here, when the shot's made and the goalie makes a save, this player, this player, this player, they can all just take off downfield, and now she's behind. And so now we have more options for fast breaks. Okay. So what you can teach is like your far side defender goes. All right. Now, if your goalie communication is good and your goalie's going like, all right, ball's top left. If I'm a defender and I'm not top left, I am I'm waiting. If my goalie says clear, I'm just gone. I'm trusting my goalie. Something happened where we're safe enough where somebody yelled clear and I'm gone. And usually that really takes advantage of this player on the far side of the field being like usually a little bit, they're ball watching, they're a little bit outside the play, they're not really thinking all that great. And so we can take full advantage of that. Right. Now if the ball goes in the cage, no big deal. If the ball goes over the net, no big deal. Right. Right. Ball hits the goalie, we got options, right? So I wanted to, this was such a great play, because this player she's like the smartest player on the field right here, right? She sees the goalie make the save and she's gone. She's the first one to just take off. She's like, okay, it's at her feet, you know, it's at her feet. I know my goalie's going to get it at some point, so I may as well just take off and beat everybody. And there she goes, right? Well, that's a hell of an opportunity. Right, and it all comes from a really well thought out, offensive player understanding what transition's all about. Okay, who's this? It's like in basketball. Sean, it's like in basketball when you cover the backcourt on defense, quick pass layup. Yeah, sure, yeah. And to that point, Sean, like, I've had a lot of discussions this year with one of our Lacrosse Goalie University member dads, who he's got a varied sports background, and he's got two daughters that are both goalies, and he coaches. And one of the things that he's run into coaching with, where he's been coaching, okay, so the women he's been coaching with have primarily just played field lacrosse. They might have played a little softball. Some played a little, but the coaches, and this is not obviously a general rule, but what he's found is that the coaches he's worked with who are female, they have not had like that basketball experience. They have not had that like football experience, or even if they played soccer, they weren't learning these types of things in a game like soccer. And so because of his experience with basketball and with football and other sports, he's able to go like look at the women's game and go like, well, we should be able to do this, this, and this, right? And so the idea, um, the idea is that we have a communication piece in field lacrosse that we don't have, that we don't have in basketball, right? We have a goalie who is actually yelling. Um, like, I mean, this in basketball, and you're exactly right. Basketball is a complementary sport to lax. I would say that most people think about it though offensively. They're not. They think about it defensively on one on one, like on positioning and things like that. Although it's horribly taught, but they're not usually thinking about like team defense in basketball and how it relates to lacrosse. Because in lacrosse we have that goalie communication piece that teams rarely utilize, and even at the D1 level, you would think it would get better. I've worked with high school coaches who teach goalie communication better than some college coaches. It drives me nuts. All right. So, but that's a really good point. And I'm really not sure what's going on. I feel like I'm going to burp, but I'm not sure why. So anyway, that's a little bit too much information. I apologize. But no, that's a great point. So I hope you like that. Like that's that. So. Oh, the last thing I was going to write here. Let me just grab my notes. Your goalie, if your coach isn't teaching this, your goalie can teach this from within effectively. All right. And what I mean by that is that your goalie usually has a relationship with a couple players on the team, like one or two, even one midi, right? They can have this little conversation with their midi at like halftime and go like, "Hey, yo," or before the game, go like, "Wait, yo, hey, all right, listen, if you're on the field and you and you're like guarding somebody and they beat you, and then they shoot, I want you to take off. Like I want you to go." Or it's like Eddie Murphy and Delirious when he's talking about like, "I want to be the piece of glass," right? That's what you're doing, right? You're mapping out like some sort of play within the game. So your goalie can do that. Say, "All right, listen, Jimmy, if you're always on the right side, long pole, like whatever. If Connor gets beat over on the left, and then um, and I just want you to take off, right? I want you to take off, and then like I can guarantee you that 9 times out of 10, that if your goalie makes the save and Connor's like gone upfield, he'll hit him with an outlet pass, and Connor will be looking for that all day. Now, one time out of like 30, Connor takes off and there's some sort of weird rebound that goes to the player he was covering, and something weird happens. But usually it's recoverable. It's not that big of a deal because if you think about it, after like a rebound off a goalie, all bets are off. Like everybody's just chasing the ball, and then whoever comes up with a loose ball, like now we're just covering. Well, we might have a midi on a short stick. We might have a long pole on a midi, right? All that stuff happens anyway. So it's really no harm, no foul to just kind of send a guy or a girl and let it rip. Okay, so when your goalie does that, post a video in the group and tell me how amazing it was. All right, guys, thanks for watching and thanks for listening wherever you are. Do me a favor, hit the like button if you like this, and be sure to subscribe if you haven't already. When you're ready, head on over to lacrossegoalieuniversity.com/coaching so I can work with you and your goalie. And while you're at it, check out athletespecific.com to learn more about mental performance and high performance. You may not know this, but I work with athletes in a variety of sports. Lacrosse is my love, but man, I love athletes and the families who support them. So head on over to athletespecific.com, check it out. I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.